All right, we are back with another College Confessions edition of Your Relationship Sucks! Exclamation point! Very excited today. This is a during work episode. Do not tell my employer, please. Actually, I'm not sure they would care. I'm not important enough. But it's a special for the people out there who think, oh, I got a job, I can't do something else. So look, you can make it happen, 100%. Just be a bad employee like I am. That's totally fine. All right.
I'm not sure I want to be associated with anything you just said. I'm going to be completely honest.
I think it's too late. I already hit record.
All of the opinions are your own, and I am no, but yes.
Look,
I guess I am considered an enabler, but you know what? That's another thing. That's an entirely other thing that I'm not going to acknowledge.
That's a losing attitude. That's an I can't attitude. And that's the type of people who don't get things done. But here, we get things done. We help people out. You are right. These are my opinions, all off the top. I don't know what's coming. The audience doesn't know what's coming. This is literally all live television that nobody knows what's coming. This is risky stuff. This is risky stuff. I have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth because I don't even know what the question is yet. But I don't hold back. I don't possess that ability. So we can get into it, though. I'm excited for it. Let's get into initial impressions. Hit me with it. What do you got?
Okay. Today it is my boyfriend, 21-year-old male, admitted to flirting with a girl, and I think that's the end for me, a 22-year-old female.
Respect. That's my initial impression. Respect.
But for who? Which one?
Period. Respect. Period. I mean, obviously, with my girl here, like, she's straight up Aretha Franklin the shit out of this dude right now. 100%. Like, I am fully on board with this girl telling him to go fuck himself. 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Let's find out if you change your tune.
Doubt it.
I'm going to try to be as concise as possible. Yeah.
What, this is the girl saying that already?
Yes.
Oh, okay. This is a straight up Ricky Bobby, no offense, Geneva Convention situation. Anytime somebody says something like that, that's not a good sign. Okay, go continue.
I've been with my boyfriend for about a year and a half. He moved in with me when he had no place to turn, bad family life, until he went to school out of state back in August.
Red flag already.
Our relationship has had ups and downs, mostly dealing with his anger and jealousy issues that he has consistently worked on throughout it. In September, we got into a fight where we didn't talk for a day, and this was, of course, while we were long distance. He had told me before the fight that he was going to see a friend, but since we didn't talk that day, he omitted all other details. It wasn't until I went to visit him that he told me that he picked up a girl, went out to dinner, and she went back to his place for a drink.
Whoa!
He claims nothing happened.
That is way different than what I thought was going to happen here. Holy shit. That is, all right, that's a misleading title. I'm going to be honest with you. This is a grievous transaction or transgression that has happened so far. I am shocked. I don't generally get shocked like by people, when they do this. I'm like, all right, whatever, I get it. Whatever your problem is probably not as big as you think it is, whatever. That's way different than like he flirted with somebody. Like he took another woman out to dinner. That's not the same thing. That is not at all the same thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Continue. I just had to, that's shocking.
Yeah.
To me. Legitimately shocking.
He claims nothing happened. We talked it out, and I believed him for whatever fucking reason. I really don't think he did anything, but it was a principle that it looked and sounded like a fucking date, and he's gotten angry with me for less. We worked through it and have had a relatively happy relationship since. Fast forward to today. He buys tickets to come visit me next week and spend and spend the holidays with me. While we were FaceTiming, he tells me that he's sorry, he's been shitty to me, and that it's weighing on him. I asked him to tell me what he means, and he tells me that the girl who he hung out with, he flirted with once. This fucking girl.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Also, hold on. Before you continue, he said, "I'm sorry that I've done what to you." I didn't catch that. I'm sorry I've done what to you.
He's been shitty to me, and then
shitty. Okay, got it. Okay, yeah. Got it. Okay.
I've had problems with cheaters in my last relationship. He knew this. He knew all of my insecurities and always assured me that it would never happen. Now I feel like my heart is ripped out, and he's fucking stomped on it with some random ass girl who he inevitably threw our relationship away for. I know it wasn't cheating, but he still fucking did it. The intent was there. It feels like cheating. I guess I need advice if I acted too rash. I pretty much told him to get his money back on the plane tickets, that I don't know if I can come back from this, and we need to go no contact. He didn't want to, but ultimately said he'd respect my wishes either way. Am I being too dramatic? I know I'm validated to feel this way, but fuck, dude. I really fucking loved this guy with everything I had. I just feel like our trust is shattered. Has anyone else dealt with this? What did you do moving forward? Most of this is a vent. I'm sorry. I just keep crying. God, why are heartbreaks so fucking horrible?
All right. Well, that got a lot sadder than I thought it was going to get. Okay. All right. First of all, before
I do want to point something out before you start. This girl has taken one of your things to talk about consistently about the no contact thing. Seems like she's taken that pretty seriously. So I do want to point that out, that is something interesting that doesn't normally happen, where someone's like, we're going no contact, like don't come, you know what I mean? So I would just like to point that out. That intrigued me, and I want to know if it's actually following it.
She has maybe done that. I can't. Have they spoken? Because my no contact thing is like, when you're done with somebody, you have to be done with them. Otherwise, you're never going to get over them. Like, that's the thing, right?
Okay,
it sounds like this chick is like so
gone no contact, so they can figure shit out.
In that case, if she's not talking to him, she's not texting him, she's not looking at him on social media, she's not doing any of that stuff, then 100%. And I fully respect that. And I genuinely think that's the best way to do any of these things. I get it. Like, I want to be friends. I want to be mature, all that stuff. You can maybe do that down the line. Like, I personally don't really believe in that, but like, I know other people do, and it's fine. Like, you can be mature and all that shit. But that's a time thing. Like, you can't just go back to being friends. Like, it just doesn't work that way. So I fully support her doing that. But look, before we get into anything, no matter what this guy has done, has no bearing, or what he said, and that it seems that he's being potentially hypocritical, that has zero bearing on how you should look at this situation. So I want to be very clear, because my guess is and this is what I try to do, right? When I hear these things, I try to say, what are people going to be saying, and do I agree with that? And is that looking at it the right way, right? And I think a lot of people are going to be like, well, he cheated on you, but he said you can't cheat on him, or you can't flirt, but he can flirt. Like, what a dick, all that stuff. That has no bearing on anything, okay? If you're like, there are people who are totally fine being in a relationship with somebody where they're like, you can flirt with whoever the fuck you want. You can do it in front of me for all I care, because I'm self-confident in what I have. Now, some of those people should be that self-confident, some of them shouldn't, but that's how they feel, and so they're okay with that. That's a relationship by relationship thing. There are other people who are like, you can't look at another human being if you want to be with me, and that's okay too. As long as as long as you guys are compatible and you've communicated that, you understand that that's what your partner needs from you, right? So I don't really care that this guy appears to be hypocritical, right? He kind of sounds like a shitbag for other reasons, but the hypocritical thing, I'm like, whatever. Like, that doesn't have any bearing on what this girl should do, on this girl's advice. To answer this girl's question, it is not justification for you to blow up at somebody because they have blown up at you, right? Like, that's not justification. That's fucking simpleton thinking. That's so fucking remedial emotionally that it's almost offensive to like say that to somebody, Like, well, you know, eye for an eye, like all that shit, right? I mean, there's a reason those cliches exist, you know, two wrongs and all that shit. Like, there's a reason that exists. So I don't really care that this guy is, you know, saying, well, you can't like look at other dudes, but I can take girls out to dinner. I do want to say though, like when she's like, it didn't sound like he did anything. He took another woman out to dinner. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I understand what she's saying. She's like, you know, he didn't put his mouth on her vagina or something. Like, that's what she's saying. But you don't have to do that in order for something to be wrong, right? Like, and by the way, if you're okay with your partner going out to dinner with people, good for you. Like, you're a self-assured person. And, you know, it might blow up, it might not blow up, but even if you weren't okay with that, they still might be doing it. So just because you allow that to happen doesn't necessarily mean that your partner is going to cheat or anything like that. But for this girl to say like, well, he didn't do anything. Yeah, he did. Like, he did. I don't care. I'm not talking sexually. I'm saying he literally did something. Like, he literally went out with somebody and you weren't okay with it. That's my point, okay? My point is what she should do is what she feels comfortable with. And it sounds to me like what she feels comfortable with is saying, I don't want my partner dating somebody else. Like, I don't want them to even go to a thing that seems like a date, right? This was not a business dinner. This was not a business lunch. This was not a friend catch up. This was none of those things. She said, to me, this felt like a date, okay? If it feels like a date, then fucking dump it. If you're not okay with that, that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. No, you did not overreact. This girl absolutely did not overreact. She actually underreacted the first time, right? She underreacted because that hurt her, right? That literally hurt her. And she's saying, you know, well, I'm so in love with him and all that stuff. Well, guess what? When you're in love, you overlook a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? And, you know, there's different levels of love and all that shit. But when you feel that way about somebody, you're more likely to overlook things, right? And that's what she did. She overlooked it. She overlooked his behavior because she was like, well, I still love him and I want to give him a chance and, you know, all that stuff. And she was letting that get in the way of saying, I need to have some self-respect and stand up for myself, right? Which is why I really support this girl doing exactly what you said, which is let me go off the reservation and just fucking go completely off the grid from him. Absolutely. Have some fucking self-respect. Have some self-respect. Stand up for that. If you're not okay with that, get that shit out of your life. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about, right? If you're not okay with something, this is what it is, right? I'm not, you know, fuck, like all these people who are like, oh, you know, like, we have to be strong and I, you know, thanks for sharing your story because, you know, now I can be strong and all that stuff. No, fuck that. Okay? Like, that's fine. If that helps you, like, good. I'm glad that fucking helps you. But you shouldn't need a story to say, or you shouldn't need to hear somebody else say, hey, I don't want this in my life, for you to say, I don't want this in my life. You don't want something in your life, just fucking get rid of it. Okay? Just fucking get rid of it. It's not that hard. You'll just say, look, don't come see me. I'm locking my fucking doors. Don't call me. I'm blocking your number. Don't get me on social because I'm fucking blocking you on all of those mediums. I'm not conversing with you. I will not have any conversations with you. I'm done. That's it. Get that shit out of your life. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about. That's the type of stuff where people think like, oh, I need to have permission for this. No, you don't. It's your fucking life. Live your life the way you want to live your life. And if you feel that you don't want this shit in your life, you are absolutely justified getting it out. You don't need a reason to not have something in your life. As long as that's what you want. If you don't want something in your life, you don't need a reason to remove it. That's the type of shit I'm talking about, okay? So hopefully this helps her from that standpoint. But that's the kind of thing. It's like, when that happens, it's not easy to do. It's not easy. I've done that to people, right? I've done that to a lot of people, actually. I'm sure they're happy about it, but whatever. I've done that to a lot of people. It's not easy to do. You have these thoughts. You'll have this, oh man, I kind of miss them, or I want to talk to them, or whatever. You know, you see something, you're like, oh man, remember that TV show we used to watch together? And something reminded me, I should text them. Oh no, I can't because I need to get this out of my life. Everybody goes through that, right? But this girl, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, follow this girl's example. She doesn't need validation. She already said, I know I'm validated in feeling what I'm feeling. She already knows she doesn't need that. What she's experiencing right now is day 2. Okay, day 1 feels fucking amazing, right? Because you're like, fuck that guy, I'm out. Day 2 is like, kind of wish he was still here. You know, kind of wish I could text him. I have something really stupid to talk about, and I know he's the only one who will talk about it with me, right? That's day 2. That's what she's experiencing. Yeah. And honestly, the answer to that is keep fucking living, you know? Go do something with your time. Don't sit there and wallow. Don't sit there and think about it. Don't sit there and say, oh, I'm heartbroken, okay? Just do something. I don't care what it is, right? Even if it's like, I want to cry or I want to do it, like, that's fine. But do something. Don't sit and think and say, did I make a mistake? Say, I'm sad because this is not a part of my life and there were good, positive things about that. But now I need to go do something, and I don't care what that is. Go for a walk, go, see a fucking movie, go hang out with some friends, go online and fucking play video games. I don't care what it is. Do something. Understand that those feelings are natural. Understand that those feelings are, I am in pain, and it's sad because there were positives from that. There may not have been a lot of positives, but there were positives. And so I'm sad that those positives aren't there, but those negatives also aren't there. And I felt that those negatives were overpowering those positives. And so it's good for me to have gotten that shit out of my life. And so all she's doing, she's feeling day 2 stuff right now. That's what she's feeling. She's feeling day 2 stuff. But like I said, respect, I was 100% right. Like Aretha Franklin over here is just crushing this dude, saying, get the fuck out of my life because I don't want you here. I don't respect that behavior. And that's not something I want in my life. And that's it. That's what people should be doing. This girl is a perfect example of what people should be doing, right? This is the type of stuff that I like to see because it's showing that you don't need anybody else to give you permission to live the way you want to live and to have the people in your life that you want to have in your life, right? That's the type of thing that we're getting with this girl, and that's the type of thing that people should be taking away from this, is to say, look, I don't need somebody else to tell me. I don't need validation from anybody. I can do whatever the fuck I want, and I'm going to be sad. It's going to happen. I'm going to be sad for a while, but it's what I want, and so I'm going to do it. That's what we should be taking away from her. I respect this girl a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I genuinely do. Like, I mean, there's nothing funny about it. Like, there's no there's no bad takes. There's no whatever. Like, this is just straight up, I respect this girl. This is what more people should be doing. If you don't want something in your life, don't wait for somebody to give you permission. Get that shit out of your life, right? She made that mistake the first time. She admitted it, and now she said, now I'm fucking done. Can we come back from this? No, probably not, because you're always going to have those thoughts, right? She's always going to remember that. You're never going to feel the same way about him. You might still love him or whatever, but that shit's going to fade with time, okay? You're never going to feel the same way. Don't try and chase that fucking dragon that you already had, because you're never, ever, ever going to feel the same way about him. There's always going to be a little part of you that feels differently about him. That's the problem. That's it. Once trust is broken, it never goes back. Never 100%. It absolutely never 100% goes back.
I was going to say, I mean, at first it sounds silly, right? Like, she didn't get as upset about him, going on the date, but then it's like he trickled in the information later about how he was flirting with her too, and that's when she was done. It wasn't even about the fact that flirting versus him, going on the date, like, that was worse to her. That was like, okay, we dealt with this, and now you're telling me more information. Now I just don't trust anything you're saying. It seems like that was just, the last straw. It sounds so silly. You're like, well, you're okay with him going on a date about it, and you're not okay with him flirting. And I'm like, no, that's really not, that doesn't seem to be what the issue is. The issue seems to be that he just wasn't honest with her at all. And especially in long distance relationships, that's built on trust, right? I mean, that's all you have. Absolutely. Is the idea that this other person is trusting you as much as you're trusting them. I do want to point out too, it seems like she also, in her mind, whether she intends to do this or not, is using his like bad family history or some of his like life experiences as an excuse for his current behavior. And I'm not saying that the two aren't connected, but no matter what your experience was as a child, at some point, and he's 21 now, like at some point he's an adult, and whether or not he's like actively dealing with that, it sounds like, yes, he's working on his anger issues. But if other things are happening and he's not, that's a choice that he's made. Like, that doesn't excuse people's behavior for who they are currently as a person. Like,
there's plenty of people, there's plenty of fucking examples.
Exactly.
There's plenty of examples of fucking people out there who had real shitty childhoods who didn't turn out to be real shitheads, okay? There's plenty of that shit, all right? We don't need to keep having all these examples. I'm glad this shit happens. I'm glad people, do the thing because it helps people out, right? Like, hey, I made it, bootstraps, all that shit, whatever. Like, I'm glad that helps people because, like, it seems like a lot of people need that, right? You kind of need that reminder, so I'm glad that shit exists or whatever. But just open your fucking eyes and go look at other people. Go ask somebody about what their experience was. Go ask them about their past. Go ask all that shit. And I guarantee you know people who do that. And the reason that you don't think they were fucked up is because they were like, hey, you know what? This was fucked up. Maybe I shouldn't do that. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying any of those things, but absolutely it doesn't excuse.
Yeah.
And even if it did excuse what he did, even if it excuses, even if it's like, well, it caused it and there's nothing he could do about it, which is not true, but there's absolutely nothing he could do about it. Let's pretend that's the case. It doesn't mean you have to have him in your fucking life.
That was going to be my next thing. Like,
Exactly.
just because someone just because someone else has had an unfortunate life and you might feel compelled to help them doesn't mean that you have to. That doesn't make you selfish. That doesn't, you know, especially when they start really going past boundaries that then impact your, like, how you deal with the world. There's, you know, that they're for a reason. There's a lot of people out there who are like, you owe your family everything no matter what. No, also not true. You know, she helped him. She did a lot. I say this a lot, but a lot of people put down, we've been together for 1.5 years. We've been together for 5 years. I've invested so much. Well, then, like, stop investing because the payout is like not going to be there for you.
That's a sunk cost fallacy. That's a sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. This shit's already done. You can't change the past.
Yeah.
It's already done. Go look that shit up. Go look up sunk cost fallacy.
I know we mentioned it before.
This shit doesn't work.
Important to mention again because
100%.
like that's a big hang up. It's a huge thing.
Also, stop moving in with people. Stop fucking moving in with people that when you fucking have no other place to go. Go find somewhere else. Go move in with a fucking friend. Do something like that. Stop moving in with your fucking significant other just because you don't have any quote unquote other options. There's plenty of fucking options. Okay? There's definitely other things you can do. There's other places you can go. Go be fucking homeless for all I care. But I'm telling you that that's a terrible thing to put into a fucking relationship. The success rate on that is very small. Very, very small. That's speaking from experience. That's somebody who has done that. And like, I moved in and it wasn't good. I mean, there was good and bad, but I wasn't ready for it. That's not a good reason to do it. So stop that shit. Okay. Just stop fucking moving in. Stop moving in. Stop thinking that you have no other options. Let's stop closing our fucking minds. Okay. Let's open up our fucking minds and brainstorm a little bit and say, what else could we possibly do? Okay. Because you don't know this other person well enough for that to happen. You just don't. Stop fucking moving in with people like that. That's killing me. This girl, everybody we read, everybody, oh, well, something happened and we had to move in together or whatever. No, you didn't. You chose to move in together. It's a choice you made. It was a stupid fucking choice because that's going to ruin some shit because you don't know each other well enough. But I agree with you. Look, go look up the sunk cost fallacy. Nobody gives a shit. You wasted some time. Who cares? Everybody's wasted time. People wasted plenty of time on me. Like, that's the past. Like, I'm telling you, all the people that are broken up with me, 100%, they'll tell you right now, like, yeah, they were not worried about, oh, I've already spent so much time with him that I can't do it. They were like, I'm glad I got the fuck out because now my life is better, right? That's what they think now, okay? And they're probably right. But what I'm saying is, like, that they are happy that they did that and they stopped fucking wasting time on me because they were like, this shit isn't going to work, all right? So that's the type of thing I'm talking about. Just get rid of that shit. Get rid of that thinking. That's terrible thinking. I don't know. I think we did it. I think we helped her out. I was a little bit more serious today, but it was important. Honestly, I think that was important. And this is a good role model. So for people out there who look for a role model, somebody that stand up on your own 2 fucking feet, which some people need help with, and I get it. Like, it's hard to do. I totally understand that. This is a good role model. So good for her. I hope she's doing fine. I hope she doesn't go back to this guy. She doesn't talk to him. She doesn't let him fucking try and weasel his way back in or whatever. No, he's doing something you don't want to do. No, sorry. Like, he can go with somebody else. You can find somebody else. Like, there's plenty of fish in the sea, all that shit. All right. Whew, I think we did it. We are very appreciative of anybody who's watching and listening and all that stuff. If you're on the podcast, please go subscribe and rate and review. That does help us out. You can find us anywhere, or at least on the major platforms. If you're not listening on the podcast, please just go subscribe or whatever and like do the thing. Like, we don't even care if you listen to it. Just please subscribe. It does help us out. On YouTube, please subscribe. And my new plan here. We're trying to get everybody who's watching just as part of your nightly routine. Just click that YouTube shit and just let it play. Whatever, it helps us out. And just put it off on the side, like close your fucking computer, turn your phone away from you, whatever, turn the volume down. We don't care if you listen, just do it. It helps us out. If you've got other questions for us, we have an email. You can hit us. What's the email?
It is info.yourrelationshipsucks@gmail.com.
All right, so you can hit us up there. If you want to purchase a T-shirt, you want a Karma Cancer T-shirt, you want a I Got Dennis T-shirt, you can email us the same thing. We'll get you get sizing and pricing and all that stuff. Otherwise, again, we really do appreciate everybody listening, and we will be back next time.